Like,
Mm-hmm.
yep, that's I knew
Hey!
it.
Hello!
Woohoo!
Hello, Internet. From me, Katie,
And me, Samwell.
and Olivia the Bird.
Thankfully, we have good news for Livy the Bird today, which is that
Mhm.
we are doing this amazing fundraiser, and 50% of our proceeds tonight are going to go to Mermaids UK.
Yay! We thank you all for joining us for this evening of piratical action for Fandom Forward and Mermaids. We're super excited about it. They're super excited about it. Are you super excited about it, Samuel?
Yeah, no, I'm super excited.
We were all distracted before this started because we were busy trying to line our heads up so they would be Libby's
Livy's
eyeballs.
eyeballs. Here is that symmetrical eyeballs right there.
Just pretend you're staring down Calico Jack. Except this is what we're doing to evil things that hurt
Yeah.
trans people. So let's talk about what we're doing tonight. A few housekeeping things. Number one, we are here tonight because we are supporting two excellent groups. Number one, Fandom Forward. Hey, that's where we're from. Number two, Mermaids, who we're going to hear from in our very first guest segment. But these are two wonderful, important charities. We're really excited about partnering with Mermaids, who are doing really, really important work in the UK to support transgender people, genderqueer people, non binary, and kids, young people, and their families. And it's a really important time in history to be doing that. And we are super excited to be partnering with them and partnering with all the really cool guests we have coming on tonight. Sam, have you heard? We have really cool guests.
I've heard some very exciting rumors
Yeah,
about two of the crew members of the Gentleman Pirate ship who might be joining us
it
this
might be
evening.
true. It might be true. Okay, so real quick, I want to give you a rundown of these exciting guests. Are you ready, Sam?
I was born ready. I
So
was
here's who.
assigned ready at birth.
uh, I was doing the acronym in my head. Um, so our first guest, we have Alana from Mermaids. They're going to tell us all about the excellent work that is being done there and the charity that we're supporting tonight. And after that, we're going to have two excellent friends of Fandom Forward, Tanya Cook and Kayla Joseph, who have written a book that I have not read, but I already love it deeply just based on the title, which is Fandom Acts of Kindness, a heroic guide to activism, advocacy, and doing chaotic good, which is my favorite type of good.
We love it. We love to see it.
Hmm. Exactly. Then we're going to have Jesse from Hashtag Ruthless come on. Hashtag Ruthless does a whole bunch of like different podcasts and content creation, really awesome stuff. Tonight we're going to be talking about their podcast, the Gay Pirate Podcast. Obviously, a fantastic name. And I'm very proud of them for getting that name because I feel like probably a lot of people wanted it and they snagged it first. So congratulations to hashtag Ruthless. And then we are going to have star of season one and probably season two, Nathan Fode, Lucius himself. I'm very excited. I'm going to talk to him about what it's like playing Lucius. How does he escape from the walls of the Revenge in the beginning of season two to wow and surprise us all? Probably some massive spoilers for season two. I bet that he's telling only to us. So stick around. Very, very excited for that. Um, Followed immediately by Wee John himself, Hodor himself, Christian Nairn. I am so delighted that they're both going to be here. This is just wonderful, and I'm trying to get my act together so I don't embarrass myself.
Good luck to us both.
Good luck. Yeah. Good luck to us both. If you would like to cheer us on and cheer all our guests on while we are doing that, we have a beautiful fundraiser going on all night long. It's at bit.ly/protect the mermaids. There it is. Boom. And we've got lots of cool perks on there. We have beautiful digital art. We have some gorgeous art donated by Karen Hellion, Risa Rodell, the creator of The Little Trash Maid, if you've ever seen that one. It's real cute. And Vanessa Kelly, who did some of the amazing artwork for Red, White, and Royal Blue in like the collector's edition of the book. So those are all there. We've got our beautiful Here for Mermaids pin, which I really love. We have Adopt a Baby Kraken, which I am going to speak to more at length, but let me tell you, it's perfect. You want it. You want to help raise these little babies. We have also how do I describe this? It's an Ursula makeup tutorial from Big Bird Drag Queen Extraordinaire. So if you are looking for a look for Pride, for Halloween, for going back to the office and wanting to give off a vibe of everyone leave me alone, this is the perk for you. Like it's fantastic.
I'm so excited about that perk.
You should be excited. I was doing my makeup to come here and thinking like, oh, I wish I had the Ursula mermaid makeup tutorial because I'm not serving.
It's not too late, Katie. You could do it.
It's oh yeah, I'm gonna get it. I just meant I should have gotten it ahead of time. I should have planned ahead. Every time we do one of these fundraisers, people ask me, I want to get plushies. I want to get plushies. Well, guess what? We got plushies. So you buy them. We got these cute little plushies that are made from like plastic water bottles that instead of going off into the sea and going to the little trash maid, they're coming into your home in the form of an adorable little plushy whale. And I think that's beautiful. So you can get that. And I think this one's brand new, just dropped. We have an original print from Geneva Bowers, who sounds like, is she a long lost cousin of mine? No, she's a brilliant artist.
Are you
Yeah, yeah, I think so. And there's only one of these prints available in the whole wide world. So like if you want it, get it now because it's going to be gone. I think that's a couple of housekeeping things, like super quick. Go ahead, drop your questions in the chat. We get them on a delay, so we're not going to answer them immediately, but we will try to get to as much as we possibly can. And as always, if you don't see something you love in the fundraiser, which I'm sure you do, but if you don't, go ahead and go to check out the fabulous booty we're hawking at our shop, which is fandom forward.
Right now, I don't even know. I can't see it. It's reflective. It's the
it's
polite
perfect.
menace pin.
I love that pin. I have
tell everyone that you're a polite menace. It's the best way to do it.
I have the shirt, and in a great injustice, my baby threw up on it immediately before. I was like, I have 10 minutes.
Not very polite of your baby, Katie.
he's a polite menace. He's an impolite menace. I was like, I got 10 minutes to go. I think I'm in the clear. Wrong. So those are all our tips. And I think we are going to bring on our first guest, who is Alana Grant. She lives in the UK, where it is the middle of the night right now. So we did an earlier interview for you that Sarah conducted, and we're going to share it with you, I think, right now.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this first day of Pride Month. We are so excited to be hosting this live stream tonight. And I am Sarah. I'm our campaigns director at Fandom Forward, and I have the pleasure of speaking with someone from Mermaids who we are supporting with our fundraiser. So I'm going to bring them on now, and we're going to chat.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Thank you so much for joining us. Can you start by introducing yourself for our audience?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name's Alana, and I am the Corporate Partnerships Manager at Mermaids.
Yes, wonderful. We are so excited to be working with Mermaids. So can you start out with telling us, a little bit about the organization? What does Mermaids do, and when and why were you founded?
So we do lots and lots and lots for the gender diverse community in the UK, and it means quite a lot to me as a non-binary person. We were set up in 1995 by a group of parents in gender clinic waiting rooms, which is what we had at the time, looking to create some kind of support group for their young people because they didn't really have anyone. And over the past few years, we have increased in size to become a nationwide charity. We have many, many services like our helpline and things that we will get into in a bit. But yeah, everything we do is for gender diverse young people and their families, parents, caregivers in the UK.
That's awesome. I love that it was started. It sounds like just with parents talking to each other and like needing some extra support. That's awesome. And why? I'm very curious. Obviously, we love the name Mermaids, especially with the campaign we're running. But why was that chosen as the name for the organization?
So not many people know this because not everyone always asks the question, but it was actually chosen by those kids that were at the very beginning of Mermaids, who were the kids of the parents that set it up. It was just something they were super obsessed with at the time. They all loved mermaids. So the parents thought, what better name than Mermaids? So it was really created by the kids for kids. I think that's just such a fun story.
I love that. That just like warms my heart that that it was just what they wanted. And I think it's such a cool, like, unique name and helps your organization like stand out, in my opinion. We've been wanting to work with Mermaids for a long time. As you know, as soon as we became aware of your organization, and we were so happy when we reached out about raising a bit of money for you that you all were interested. But what made you, you all decide to partner with Fandom Forward on this fundraiser?
There were quite a few things, really. I mean, first of all, the email was really exciting because it sounded like the kind of opportunity we would be perfect for. Reading about the campaign, seeing how it's all like mermaid themed. I mean, who's more mermaids?
Yeah, exactly.
It also seemed like a great opportunity to try and spread the word of what we do and how we work to more people around the world. And on top of that as well, when we had a meeting, our personalities just clicked, I think, because I'm also like a big nerd and I'm part of so many fandoms. And I was like, oh, this is too perfect.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in that meeting we spent a good few minutes just talking about Our Flag Means Death. So
maybe more than a few minutes.
More than a few minutes, yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. We felt the exact same way. So obviously, today, during this live stream, we are launching our fundraiser, which we're calling Protect the Water, Protect the Mermaids. And we are already sharing the link in the chat to that fundraising page. But I wanted to ask, just so everyone, who's watching knows, when they donate to this fundraiser, where I should, explain a little bit, 50% of the proceeds will go to Mermaids and 50% will go to Fandom Forward in our work to help train activists. But when they donate to Mermaids, what are they allowing you all to do? What are they supporting? You can talk about the people or the services that you all provide, just so that they know, where their money is going.
So they're supporting a lot of various support services that we offer. One of our main ones, as I mentioned earlier, is our helpline. So this is open as much as we can possibly have it. It's open on weekends, open till 9 p.m. on the weekdays. And this is for anyone to call who is gender diverse themselves, or maybe has like a gender diverse young person, needs some support, needs to ask questions, even if they're in a crisis, they can give us a call and we will be here for them. And to give you an idea of how much that has grown, in 2019 we had around 9,000 contacts to that helpline, and then the year after it was over 45,000. So
Gosh.
as you can see, we are needed more than ever by
Yeah.
our community, but we do a lot more than that as well. We have secure online forums, one for young people and one for parents, so they can create an online support community if they're not able to do that in person. We also do family days. So these are whole days for the family that are just full of fun, trans joy, really, for the kids. I mean, it's the one place they get to be themselves, where they are understood by everyone around them and don't feel like they are the odd one out, and they are such a magical experience to see. We also do a lot of research and offer legal support, like our name change clinic, and we do a lot of campaigning and advocacy for trans rights in the UK. And then on top of that, we also do a lot of training and educating with both private and public organisations.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. So really a whole range of things, from like very, it seems like, you know, individual kind of like the family support, or those days that you were talking about, the family days, but also like policy level. Yeah. So when people are donating, they're really helping to support like trans and gender diverse folks on a whole range of issues.
Yeah, they're helping to support them right now with these services, and also in the future while we try and build a better one for the young people.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know, I kind of want to go back to what you said a little bit about how much the number of calls to the helpline or the number of contacts have increased. And I know, you know, in the US here, we're experiencing a lot of anti-trans legislation going through different states, you know, very unfortunately, and we're wanting to do a lot of work to support our trans folks and our trans youth specifically. But so people know a little bit about, you know, what's happening in the UK and why those increases in help needed, you know, might be happening. Why is it so important for people to be, you know, supporting trans youth right now, especially in the UK?
Supporting trans youth right now in the UK is so important because of the current situation that we're in. I know that things are pretty, as you said, bad in a lot of places in America for trans people, and it's only getting worse here as well. And I think a lot of it has to do with politics, you know, trans people being used as kind of like a debate topic, which we are not. We're human beings that just want to live a normal, happy life the way that we want to do it, and it's not really possible at the moment. There are a few big issues that are kind of our biggest issues at the moment. One of them being medical care. So currently you have to be on a pretty long waiting list even to get your first appointment at the moment at a gender clinic on the NHS. But it feels like every time you move up a year, there's another year added to the waiting list. And currently it's around 5 to 6 years.
Oh my
and
gosh.
That's just for your very first appointment.
Wow.
Then that causes even more problems. If a medical transition is what you need for you, you might be experiencing a lot of gender dysphoria, and you might need some help with your mental health. But then trying to find a mental health professional that knows anything about being gender diverse is almost impossible. And there are so many further issues in that. A lot of the time when they're talking about us in the news, it's all to do with like pronouns in bathrooms and pronouns in bathrooms. But the deeper issues are medical care, healthcare, being far more likely to experience a violent crime, become homeless, how difficult it is to find a job as a gender diverse person. We have all these other issues that I don't think a lot of people are talking about often enough.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just the fact that you said that the wait list to go to that, you know, the first appointment at that clinic is even a year long, not let alone 5 or 6 years. I mean, that is not good to say the very least. Yeah. Okay. So definitely, when people are donating, like the supporting Mermaids and all the work that you are doing is going to be very helpful for um, all trans people in the UK, but I know you all focus on trans youth specifically. Yeah. Um, and I know you mentioned a little bit to kind of end on, a happy note here, that you get to see, these moments of trans joy in your work and, at those family days you mentioned. And with it being Pride Month, we obviously want to talk about the reality and support trans folks and the queer community this month, but we also want to celebrate. So, are there any moments of trans joy that you can share with us from your work over the last, just anything recent that you've experienced?
Yes, there are so many moments of trans joy here at Mermaids. I mean, I can't wait for it to be the norm for all trans people, but the family days are definitely like where it hits my heart the most.
Mm-hmm.
The kids will come in and they'll all be like really shy, hiding behind their parents and holding onto their hand. And at the end of the day, you'll see them running around with the other kids, telling each other how they're going to be best friends forever. And that just makes me so happy. One time I managed to get a makeup artist to come in and do a bit of like a makeup session. And I thought really only like the older kids would want to come to that, but all the kids wanted to come to it. And as you do my makeup, I was talking about my gender and my gender journey and how I went through a phase of I hate all things feminine, I hate all things pink and girly. That's obviously not me now.
Yeah.
And I talked about like my sort of like journey with makeup and stuff and self-expression and how it changed and things. And afterwards, a parent of one of the young gender diverse people come up to me and said, my kid is non-binary and seems to have rejected everything that they used to like and that they used to enjoy because it's like too feminine for them and stuff. And I was getting really worried about them. So thank you for being so vocal about you and your journey. It's made me feel like a lot better. And I was just like, honestly, don't worry about them. They're just figuring themselves out. And trust me, it takes time. So being able to have those one-on-one conversations with the parents means the world to me.
Yeah. It's just so joyful to hear, about parents being supportive as well, like with the groups that you all are working with. And I know it started from groups of parents wanting that support. But sometimes you just hear the stories about parents like rejecting their kids or stuff like that. So it's just nice to hear from you that at these family days you get to see the kids, but also the parents and all the joy that they have. So that's
They
really
really
great.
do. We do our absolute best to support them through any questions they have, any issues they have, like if there's an issue at the school or something, getting the kid's name changed, anything like that they need, we are here for them and they are doing their absolute best.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. Well, thank you, Alana, for joining us and for talking about Mermaids so we all know a little bit more about the work that you all are doing and where we're donating and putting our support. Is there anything else you want people to know about Mermaids? And if not, just let us know where we can follow Mermaids to support your work even further.
Of course. Well, Pride season is coming up and Mermaids is going to be at quite a few of the Pride events all around the UK. So there will be lots of posts and stuff about that so you can keep up with our work. And if you want to follow us, we are Mermaids Gender on Instagram. That's probably the best place to keep up to date with us. But there's also loads of information on our website. And if you want to know what's coming up next with us, you can sign up to our newsletter too.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you again so much for talking with us today and for working with Fandom Forward on this fundraiser. We are so excited to see, what kind of support we can get for Mermaids this month.
Thank you so much for involving us, Sarah. This has been so much fun. It was lovely chatting with you.
Yeah, you too. All right,
goodbye.
Much.
Bye.
Oh, Katie, I think you're muted. That was amazing.
I didn't want anybody hearing me chat backstage.
That's fair.
I love Mermaids. I
They
love
do such
them.
good work, such important work.
Mm-hmm.
Like What an amazing resource. And as a non-binary person, I'm extra excited to see the work that they're doing with kids. And it makes me think about like how much easier my journey might have been had I had that same support as a child. And it's really awesome that they're doing that.
I think it's like beautiful and healing in a way for like the adult inner child to look at kids and be like, oh, I would have loved to have that. Like, it's a lot of joy to be able to see
Yeah,
how far we have come. There's,
absolutely. It's never too late to heal your inner trans child. Or, I guess cis
you
child.
heard it here.
It's the trans inner children that we care about.
We're not here for the cis children tonight. We're here for all the children across the board.
Always.
Don't come for us. An update, our donations last I looked were haunted. So if someone can please donate $5 to get us out of the haunting,
or even
that would be great. Or even $1 to get us out of the haunting. That's what we'll be looking for. Don't make me have creepy ghosts in my house. Get a plushie. Okay. Oh, we're getting into our next segment. I will tell you when I return all about Kraken raising. So,
amazing.
Yeah, and I'll let Samuel, do you want to introduce our next guest?
Yes, I would love to. So coming up next, we have the amazing dynamic duo behind the book Fandom Acts of Kindness. And I'm very excited to have them introduce themselves to you now. Hello. Oh my gosh, the costume.
Hi, all. Yes, I thought, is there any better outfit for this event? I don't think so. So hi, I'm Dr. Tanya Cook. I use she, they pronouns. I'm a sociology professor at the Community College of Aurora near Denver, Colorado, and I research fandom-based activism, and I co-wrote Fandom Acts of Kindness with Kayla.
Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Kayla Joseph. I use they and she pronouns, and I'm a non-binary and queer psychologist in the Bay Area, and I specialize in LGBTQ plus psychology. I also research fandoms and co-wrote Fandom Acts of Kindness with Tanya.
Incredible. Thank you both so much for introducing yourselves. Tanya, we live in almost the same city. So
oh, really?
Yes, I'm in Denver, so
we'll
have to chat later.
Yeah, awesome. Totally.
But yeah, I am so excited about the title of this book alone. So I'm curious what the process of writing this book was like.
How much time do you have? No, I'm just so.
How much time do you want?
Yeah, it's been a journey, a wonderful, like, epic hero's quest journey. But I will say, so I kind of fell into the supernatural fandom around 2014. I had just moved to Denver. I was new to town. I was isolated, and fandom was a great way to connect with folks. And I noticed after my first year doing Gish, the greatest international scavenger hunt that was run by Misha Collins, that a lot of what my teammates were doing, and they were all in the supernatural community, some were involved with Fandom Forward and what Fandom Forward used to be called, and Nerdfighteria, right? And so they were doing all this great work, and I thought, this looks like social movements, right? As a sociologist, I'm looking at this work and this activism, and I started to explore that work through a sociological lens. And I presented some of this early stages theory around this work, fandom as a social movement, at an academic conference. Somebody tweeted this to Misha Collins, and he shared my entire abstract, which for an academic is a little bit like someone seeing you singing in the shower naked. I don't know a better analogy. It's a little weird. And he used it to troll his co-star, Jared Padalecki, and RIP my social media mentions. So that's how that got kicked off.
And then I came into the picture with that tweet. So I had also joined the supernatural fandom kind of roughly around the same time. I was in the process of finishing up a fellowship and looking at what my post grad school career was going to look like, and had been wanting to get more into fan activism and fandom studies, saw this tweet, reached out to Tanya, and then I think about 7 or so years later, we were publishing this book. And we started out thinking that this was going to be a very academic venture. We went through the whole institutional review board process so that we could interview fans. And we started presenting at Comic-Cons, and what we heard just over and over and over again was, yeah, the research is really great. That's interesting, but how do you do fan activism? Mm-hmm. And so when we started approaching our publisher, the book sort of morphed into that, of more of a how-to as opposed to just here's what it is.
That's so cool. It's great to have like academia backing up what so many fans have been excited and passionate about for such a long time. Are you interested in sharing some of your favorite tidbits from the book?
This is a little like asking which of my 3 kids I like the best, and the answer is whoever's not annoying me. But seriously, I loved. There's in chapter 1, there's an alignment chart like D&D, and I nerded out for 2 or 3 days, putting all of the Game of Thrones characters and all of like the Batman universe characters into the alignment chart. That's just like a personal thing that was very, very fun. But the real answer is talking about all the amazing things, celebrating what fans have done to support each other in their communities. I mean, just so uplifting, like from a fan, Lauren, who donated a kidney to someone she doesn't know because she saw something on Twitter about it, to fandom forward fans working to disrupt ice sweeps a few years ago. And I think that was mainly in the Chicago area, and like just direct activism to support undocumented folks, to Xenites, fans of Xena Warrior Princess, have donated over $28 million. It's probably like $30 million now to charity and charitable organizations since the show aired. And so those are a big part of why we wrote this book. We wanted to celebrate those stories and uplift fans who, unfortunately often are stigmatized in pop culture as, obsessive and nerdy and like into really niche things. And those are not bad things. And they do great work in the world.
And similarly, it's hard to pick a favorite, but I think the chapter that was the most fun to write was the self-care chapter. We did a deep dive into Marvel's Infinity Stones and used that as a framing device for how to sort of power up while taking care of yourself. And then, like Tanya said, really what stands out about the book is all of the work that fans have done. And the organization that I really, really loved that we got to highlight was Parasol Patrol, and our friends Eli and Pasha, who created Parasol Patrol. It was created at a comic book store in Denver and now has locations all throughout the country. And for folks who aren't familiar with Parasol Patrol, what they do is they use rainbow parasols or umbrellas to shield kids from anti-LGBTQ plus protesters at events like Drag Story Hours and other events where those protesters might show up. And so just feel incredibly honored, especially with everything that's going on in the world right now, to have been able to highlight the amazing, amazing work that they're doing.
Yes. I actually worked with them in December, so
that's
amazing. So exciting to hear. Yeah, they helped me on my event in Denver called Homo for the Holidays. So they're an absolutely fabulous group. Love them so much. Thank you so much for sharing those. I heard a rumor that y'all are working on a new book that might have something to do with Tanya's current costume. Would y'all be interested in sharing some details about that?
We will, yes, we will share very, thank you for asking, very, very general strokes at this point, broad strokes, because, some people need to get down in the chair and like sit down and write stuff. I'm talking, when I say some people, I'm referring to myself there. Okay. So we were so excited about, we had finished this book. And the thing about writing a book, if you've done it before, is you finish the book, you like take a deep breath and you release it into the world. And then you're like, but I have more to say. I want to do more of this. What's the next book? And we were both so excited about Our Flag Means Death and the fan response that we said, okay, this is it. This is what we have to do. And so what we want to really focus on in this volume, which will be an edited volume where it's not just us writing, we will contribute chapters, but there'll be chapters from fans. There'll be fan art and people talking about their fan art process and stories about not so much fanfic stories, but stories about writing fanfic or analysis of writing fanfic and what that means to folks and how that helps them explore and understand aspects of their identities. And there'll be more analytical kind of quasi-academic chapters. So the themes are, creativity, fan activism, and found family in Our Flag Means Death. And we will probably have a charity partner for this book that might be familiar to
Ooh la
people.
la.
We're also really hoping to highlight some of the cast and crew experiences as well, if that ends up being feasible, especially experiences with fans. But like Tanya said, the project's still very, very early in development. So we're still reaching out to folks and kind of figuring out how this is going to take shape. Like we mentioned with our first book, these go through a lot of kind of phases of development. And so this is kind of our very first phase of getting that figured out.
Okay, so no release date quite yet.
No release date quite yet, although when we have more information that we can share, we will definitely be sharing on social media.
Unfortunately, just like season 2 of our favorite pirate show, we're just gonna tease you and tease you and tease you a little bit so that you're ready for this. Anyway,
I'm on the edge of my seat for both, honestly. Thank you so much. I have one last question for you. So, as you know, we are raising money tonight, 50% for Fandom Forward, 50% for Mermaids UK. And I'm curious if y'all would like to share why you think raising money to support trans kids in the UK is so important right now.
So Tanya and I talked ahead of time, and I am going to take this one and fly my very serious psychologist flag for just a moment. I think everyone is well aware that trans youth across the world are under attack right now, simply for being who they are and for trying to access gender-affirming care that is absolutely evidence-based. And unfortunately, there are a lot of efforts to limit that access to care. And I heard some of that being talked about by the earlier panelists. And what's so unfortunate about that is that we know that this care can be life-saving. And for folks who don't know trans and non-binary people, the word life-saving might sound a little melodramatic, but we see over and over and over again in the research that suicide rates are disproportionately high in these populations. There was a study by the Trevor Project that suggests that non-binary youth and trans youth are 2 to 2.5 times more likely to attempt and consider suicide. And among Black, trans, and non-binary youth specifically, a quarter attempted suicide and 59% seriously considered suicide in the year of that study. That is more than half. Any other death-related statistics that high would constitute a public health crisis, and we would be seeing it treated like a public health crisis. And so in the UK specifically, we also see this push to limit access to care through that spreading of misinformation that I was talking about earlier. And if you're interested, folks can read a lot more about that on the World Professional Association for Transgender Health's website, wpath.org, in their public statement section. They have a really great synopsis of what's been going on and a statement by WPATH and all of its affiliates essentially condemning what's been going on. We also can't mention the UK, unfortunately, without mentioning the horrific murder of Brianna Jai earlier this year. And misinformation about non-binary and trans youth really create that environment where violence is unfortunately rampant. And we don't know everything about Brianna's murder, but we do know that trans non-binary people are disproportionately targeted. And the more misinformation is out there, the more that folks don't have access to the care they need, the more, unfortunately, that we just see folks in awful situations that are absolutely preventable. And I heard folks talking earlier about trans joy. It's Pride Month. I would love to see more trans joy in the world. And so I'm so excited to see Fandom Forward and Our Flag Means Death fandom doing exactly that through this event, trying to bring more awareness to trans joy and more resources to trans and non-binary youth.
Yes, even for those of us who don't identify as a bleeping mermaid. Love it so much. Thank you so much for sharing that. It is a very serious and grave thing to talk about and acknowledge and sit with. And it's so important that we do so, because I think a lot of people lose sight of the stakes. We have just one more really quick question for y'all before you go. Do you have a favorite bookstore where people could buy your book?
I do. Yes, thank you. And thanks so much for that question. That's great. I would recommend, you can find it online pretty much anywhere you look for books that are sold. So of course, we personally like to shout out for our local stores. So I would recommend, being a Denver person, Tattered Cover, and you can go to Tattered Cover's website and find it there. You can also find it through Powell's, which is a great independent bookstore in Portland, Oregon. And I believe you could find it on Bookshop. Bookshop is a great option where you can designate a local bookstore to receive kind of the profits from that. And that's what I do when I purchase books. And like, I can't find them at that particular bookstore, but I want to support that store. So yeah, those would be my recs. I don't know if you have any, Kayla.
Yeah, in the Bay Area, we have a chain called Books Inc. It's a chain, but it's a small chain that I believe is exclusive to the Bay Area, and they also have online sales as well.
Amazing. Thank you both so much for sharing. I'm excited to keep chatting and to read your book and the mystery release date for the second one. I'm counting down the mystery abstract days until it comes out. Thank you both so much for joining.
Thank you for having us. This was great. Thank you. Good luck.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Katie's back. Oh, and Katie's muted again.
I don't know how to use the internet, y'all. I am very excited to buy those books, probably analog, since I don't know how to use the internet. That was wonderful. And now we have our next guest coming up. I believe Jessie. It's Jessie!
Hello, everyone.
Hello. I think, yes, I was just going to say, Sam, I think you're heading out. They gone. Jessie, how are you?
I am doing great. If people hear chirping in the background, that is because I am fostering a litter of kittens, and they are very cute and very loud. So,
okay, if you need to like give them attention and bring them up and nuzzle them to your face at any point, we will understand.
I was trying to grab one for the camera. Oh wait, here we go.
Please, I thought you were going to say the chirping was coming from Olivia, who's directly behind us right here.
This is Push Pop. You are very tiny.
Is Push Pop named after Alexis Nicole's cat?
Oh, no. All of the kittens are named after like ice cream truck ice cream. So there's Push Pop and Fudgesicle and Choco Taco.
I love that.
So, yeah.
Choco. I want to see Choco Taco.
If she gets close to me, I will grab her. They're like eating right now.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Are you donating one of those kittens as a perk? No, just kidding.
Oh my god. I feel like the ethics of that as a Patreon.
If they're local, you know. We're not going to ship the kittens. No.
Anyway,
Jessie. We've got a little bit without actually introducing you. Would you like to tell us, Jessie, what's the deal? What's the deal? What brings you here tonight?
Yes. My name is Jessie Blount, and I am one half of #Ruthless. We have several podcasts right now, but we also have Our Flag Means Death podcast, the Gay Pirate podcast, which will come back as soon as the show comes back.
Yeah, right? When?
Fingers crossed, whenever that is.
When? They keep telling us it's coming. The actors say not to worry. So I'm trusting them. But, you know, my little heart is on tethers.
I know, especially considering that the new CEO is awful. So.
Mm-hmm. We ride at dawn, people. If this is if it comes to it, all right. This is a combination like fundraiser and also threat. No, just kidding. Don't come for me.
That's the best kind of fundraiser. But
Speaking of which, just real quick, thank you to the people that donated to get the ghosts out of my house. I really appreciate it. We're now at $700, so thank you. I would love to see somebody adopt a baby kraken, which I'll tell you about in a minute, but I want to talk to Jessie more first.
So yeah, and in general, hashtag ruthless, all of our podcasts are like a media analysis from a queer feminist perspective. And we actually have one new podcast and a revamped podcast since we met last year.
Share.
So we, for a couple of years, have had a Buffy the Vampire Slayer rewatch podcast that was Patreon only, and in the past year we have made it public on a public feed. And like our patrons are like 2 years ahead of where like the free feed is. So if you really love Buffy, you can become a patron and you can hear us talk about season 2, because we're not going in order. We're going in chronological order. We're going in order of the seasons that we love the most. So.
Ooh, wait. So are you doing the seasons you love the most first and then going to the seasons you hate?
Yeah, so we started with season 4, which is a very controversial take.
That is a Buffy controversial pick.
But me and Lark are both like, no, season 4 is the best season.
This is fascinating. This makes it sound like you just wanted to start things with people.
Yeah. Also, I mean, a little bit because chaos goblin mode, but season 4 is really, it's full of camp. It's very light. It's a lot of fun. And, you know, consistently with people think of like top 5 Buffy episodes, like half of them are in season 4. So it's really just like
fair.
Why start with season 1? We can start with season 4.
Fair.
And then on Patreon, we're on season 2. So
where is season 1 going to fall, out of curiosity?
That is a really good question, because me and Lark are each picking. So we both sort of mutually picked, season 4, and then. Or like it was Lark's idea to start with season 4, and then I was like, well, I love season 2 because I love Drusilla and Spike and the sort of Angel Angelus thing. So, you know, that's our next season, and then we're not telling each other which one's going to come after that. So it's really
interesting.
It's even unknown to me.
Approach. I like this approach. It's fascinating. I have to get this back on the gay pirate rails, though. This is not Vampire Hour. Yes. This is Gay Pirates Hour. Yeah, I am very excited. I love your podcast. I love the show. I am very excited to see what comes next. What are your hopes and dreams for what's coming in season 2?
I really hope that the angst isn't drawn out. I feel like this is another controversial take where I want Steed and Ed to make up by episode 3 at the most. And then they can just have wacky hijinks of them figuring out what it looks like as them as a couple. Because I think that is, I find more interesting than sort of drawing out of they're both still at these different places. And I'm it's still a comedy, like a rom-com and Heart. So I'm kind of really hoping for that.
Yeah, I dig it. I've heard this from you before, and that was the first time I had ever heard it presented as let's wrap it up quick. And I have come around to be totally on board with that. I agree. I just want to see them romping and having fun, and not too long in Kraken mode. Speaking of Krakens, I need to explain real quickly our adopt a baby Kraken perk. Can I tell you about it? Since you're fostering baby kittens, I have been. If you hear loud wailing screams behind me. That's because I have been fostering a litter of baby krakens. These ones have currently a bit of love in their heart because they're children. And we have them all at the Revenge Kraken Sanctuary. So if you donate $25 to support a year of their development, which is how long it takes for a baby kraken to develop into a horrendous adult monster, you will get a certificate of adoption. You will receive quarterly updates on your kraken's health and growth and development, and you will also receive a artist rendering of your baby kraken, drawn just for you, of your beautiful, terrible darling. Those are available for $25, and the proceeds go to support Fandom Forward and Mermaids. And also, I'm one of the artists that's going to draw them. So
That's incredible.
I'll do a little special bonus for you if I'm the person that draws your baby kraken. So that's what they are. These krakens have love. We're not doing. This is not a Taika Waititi dark evil kraken. It may grow up to be that. We're not responsible once they're like out in the wild, out of the sanctuary. That's not our thing. We're here for the children.
Just adorable babies. Speaking of which,
they are adorable babies.
This is Creamsicle because tiny and orange.
Oh, so cute.
All right, you want to get down? Okay, bye.
If anyone has themed name suggestions for the baby krakens, I'll take those in the chat at this time.
You really cannot go wrong with a themed name theme.
Please share.
So clearly off the top of my head, the crew, the Revenge, excellent.
It's beautiful.
I know.
Very wee John Kraken.
Oh.
Roach Kraken.
With the tiniest little doll.
It'd be so cute. Oh, I like this. I actually hadn't thought about the sort of logistics of drawing that, but I think it will be really cute. I love it. Creamsicle's got some fans in the chat. Yeah. And right here. I'm being such a goofball right now, but like I said about the Krakens, we're here for the children, but we're also here for the real children. So Jessie, I want to ask, why is it so important that people support trans youth right now, especially in the UK, but also all over the place?
It is important because trans people, and especially trans youth, are under attack by a growing fascist movement, especially in the US and the UK. And young people are a very vulnerable population, as they do not have the same kind of autonomy as adults. And adults with wealth and prestige and power, like a certain scoundrel JKR, are really just trying to exterminate trans people. And we really, it's sort of like we have to support the most vulnerable among us, and we have to end fascism, because anyone who thinks that it's only going to be fascists are going to be content with just trying to get rid of trans people and trans youth are lying to themselves. So it's real. I mean, I know that people have already cited a lot of statistics about how difficult it is to grow up as a trans person, but it really just comes down to there's a group of people actively attacking trans youth, and we have to stand up for them and ourselves. And
and I think choosing right now to support trans kids is a statement for, this is, Kayla, I think, mentioned this, but this is about supporting trans joy, and this is about there being more joy in the world and less awful restrictions on who you can be and how you can live your life. And this is about, ultimately, this is a fight to let everyone be who they are and experience joy because of it. And also, our side has adorable kittens and adorable krakens. So, like, come on
Exactly.
now.
Right. If you have ever been like, man, if I was in a historically prominent part of history, I would want to be on the right side of that. And the ethical and moral choice is to support and protect trans people and trans youth. So
1000%. Jesse, if people want to come listen to the Gay Pirate podcast when it comes back, if they want to listen to We Are the Gayers, everything else, where should they go?
People can find us at #ruthless.com. It has a list right on the front page of all of our podcasts, including our new feed, The Gaily Planet, since we have moved away from Harry Potter for the aforementioned reason of
I love
Joanna Rowling being the worst.
Joanne. I
and
love the Gaily Planet, though. That was an excellent, very smooth transition.
Yeah. And we're just talking about media that we love. And people can find us there. They can find our Patreon, our merch shop. And if you want to join us this summer for summer camp, where we're talking about campy gay movies all summer long, to really experience some trans joy IRL, people can do it there.
Do it. Do it. Plus, there's a sticker club, too.
And there is a sticker club. So
It's perfect.
If people are over rainbow capitalism and want to support actual trans people and trans designed things, they can. It's really one shop stopping. Media
It's
analysis,
beautiful.
cute stickers. We also have pirate themed merch still.
Pirate booty.
Pirate booty, if you will.
Mm-hmm. And you can get updates on those kittens. It's
and
perfect.
There will be updates about the ice cream truck litter.
So excited. As someone who frequents a lot of real ice cream trucks, this really speaks to a cross section of my interests. Jesse, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you for having me. It's always a lot of fun to join fandom forward things, especially around my top show the past 5 years. Let's be honest, our Flag Moon stuff. So
legitimately, though,
yeah.
I still get butterflies talking about it. I love it so much.
It's a feast for queer people. It's just like you can have all of the joy and the angst and the pirating that you would love.
It's perfect. Be gay, do crime, encapsulated in one perfect TV show.
Truly.
Jesse, thank you. I hope you have a marvelous evening with your kittens.
Right. Yes, thank you so much for having me. And have a great evening.
Bye. Have a great evening. Hello, everyone. I have huge news from the Revenge Kraken Sanctuary, which is that we've had 5 adorable baby Krakens who have been adopted just now. So these are little baby Krakens that, because of you, will be able to grow up safely in the sanctuary and will be able to thrive out in the wild. And what's that? Yes? One's hungry. She's like, She's fine. Very exciting. I am very excited because our next guest is Lucius himself, Nathan Fode. I'm waiting. We are having some technical difficulties back in the chat, or back in the behind the scenes chat.
Okay, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining our live stream tonight. My name is Sarah. I'm the campaigns director at Fandom Forward, and I am am here to introduce a very special guest who I know you will all be excited to hear from. Let me bring the guest onto the stream now.
Hey!
Yay! It's Nathan!
Hi Sarah, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. I'm doing great. I'm honored to be here.
Oh, we're so honored to have you here. I am like 100% sure that no one watching needs introduction, but just in case we have some folks who are new to the fandom, can you please introduce yourself for our audience?
For sure. My name is Nathan Fode. Hi everyone. And I play Lucius in Our Flag Means Death on HBO Max.
Yes, yay! We love you on Our Flag Means Death and Lucius so much. And the first thing that we were curious to hear about from you is just what has it been like playing such a beloved character? Like, did you expect the fan response when you were filming the show, and what has that been like?
I mean, no, it's so, whenever you're filming something, you can never really anticipate how it's going to be received. Or I guess maybe you could, but I think maybe that way kind of madness lies. You just kind of have to do the thing and do the best job that you can do in the moment. It's been so overwhelming and brilliant to see how much people have connected with the show and enjoyed it. And it was playing Lucius, it's a dream role. It's so much fun, because I was able to bring so much of myself to the role, and it just felt like every day just kind of felt fun. It's such it's such a big beast of a show, and a lot of people have much harder jobs in it than I do. I just kind of get to dupe around, but yeah, I've loved every second of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, it's so great to hear you say, just how much of yourself you could bring. Like, has playing Lucius or being on the show in general, changed your career goals at all, or where you want to go with acting?
Well, it's such an interesting question. I think maybe people who are fans of the show maybe know this. My kind of casting story in the show is that I wasn't really a professional actor before I did the show. I'm a comedy writer, that's my main gig. So I wasn't really pursuing acting at all. And obviously it was a dream come true to get to go and, get to move to Hollywood for a little bit and go and do a cool, big, sexy show. Has it changed my career goals? Yeah, sure. I want to keep acting alongside writing, but it's only... you kind of get spoiled with a first show like Our Flag because it's such a big, cool, interesting beast of a show with such an amazing fan base and interesting writing and this incredible cast. So I'd like to keep doing it, but only if it's that good.
Yeah. Yeah. What an amazing kind of first experience, or I don't know if it was it literally your first acting role, or
pretty much, apart from stuff that I did, I went to drama school and stuff, and I was acting all throughout my teens, but I stopped doing it at all seriously at the age of 21. So it was the first time I'd picked it back up in a while, and it was super intimidating. It was so scary, but it was a real testament to, as I say, how the show was so geared around building the characters around us and making us feel comfortable in the roles. So I just it was actually, considering it was quite a stressful experience, relocating and everything. Sure. Actually, once I got on set, it was just fun. I just had so much fun.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, what a cool, kind of first big acting experience. I
mean, I feel
yeah. I can't imagine anything better. So yeah, going forward, we are such a big fans of the show. We have volunteers. Our volunteer, Madison, wanted me to make sure that I mentioned that they asked this question. But what makes you proud to play Lucius? What do you think you brought to the character in this current media landscape? What makes you proud to play this character?
That's a really cool question. I think it's really cool to get, as a queer actor, it's really cool to get to play a character that isn't just one thing. I think queer actors historically, it's so easy to fall prey to stereotypes, and actually Lucius, he does as much as sometimes I feel like, oh God, all I'm doing in the show is kind of like rolling my eyes. But actually, he really does contain multitudes. And like, he is a really complicated character and he has a really interesting arc on the show. And it was very cool to get to like play all the fun parts of playing like a kind of gay sidekick, like so much fun, but also to get to play all the like the full range and like human complexities of a person. It wasn't just like, oh, could you make it maybe a little more sassy here or whatever. And I think that is I'm a real beneficiary of like the hard work of so many queer actors before me, do you know what I mean, who kind of fought back against that, and queer creators as well, who are like broadening the spectrum of like what it means to be a queer person on screen. So it was really cool to like step into a role where I never felt like I was kind of doing like a sort of gay, like, I don't know, like puppet show for everyone, you know?
Yeah. And I think what's so cool about our Flag Means Death too is that like, because it's a show with so many queer characters, and you get to see like a full like spectrum instead of like so much of what we saw in the past in media is like the token character, just
right.
one. So that's what's so cool about this show also.
There's not that like pressure. Like, the show is so overwhelmingly queer. Even the characters who aren't like canonically queer, there are so many like queer undertones in the show that like it kind of does relieve that pressure. I wasn't just like the like funny wacky gay one. It was like that actually there were so many queer characters that were representing such a broad range of experiences. So actually like it kind of took the pressure off a little bit, which was quite nice.
I'm sure. So to talk a little bit about why we're here tonight on this live stream, we are hosting a fundraiser this month in June and raising money for trans youth. Half of the proceeds of the fundraiser go to Fandom Forward and Our Work Training Activists, and then half of the proceeds go to Mermaids UK. And they work with trans youth. So we wanted to ask, we're asking all our guests tonight, why do you think it's so important to support trans youth right now, especially in the UK, because Mermaids is based in the UK and we're supporting them tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing work. It is sad. I do think we are at a bit of a crisis point in the UK right now. And I think inevitably, as trans people become more visible in media, then bigots feel like they have more to like push back against. And unfortunately, people shout the loudest. And what I'm battling to see how history is just repeating itself. Like, so much of the rhetoric that's used against trans people is recycled homophobia, recycled misogyny. Like when you look at the way that gay and lesbian and bisexual people were historically treated throughout like the 20th century, the messaging around gay teachers and queer people being untrustworthy around children, like that rhetoric has just been given a new lick of paint and is now being used to oppress a more vulnerable and marginalized group. And I'm sure, like, if you asked so many of the people who attack trans rights in the names of like women's safety or whatever, they would be horrified at the idea of their gay friend or their bisexual cousin or their lesbian co-worker being brutalized and victimized in the same way. But it is no different. We're having the wool pulled over our eyes and people are falling for it. Like, trans people just want to exist and there's no sinister agenda. Bigots just want to keep people scared because that's the easiest way of controlling people, And I'd say to people, like, if you are worried about your safety, like, look to your corrupt lawmakers and your police force and to the billionaires that are hoarding their wealth while people struggle to heat their homes and feed their families. Don't look to trans people. Don't look to trans children. Like, we have to be smarter than that. And I truly believe we can be,
Yeah, totally agree. I think that from what I know, I think the UK and the US are kind of in similar positions where like there's, just like you said, kind of like this wave of like backlash, unfortunately, which is why we wanted to, do this fundraiser and support Mermaids, who's specifically working with trans youth. But yeah, it's sad. It's so sad. And we just want to try and do something to help.
I sometimes wonder, like, I understand this is a bit simplistic thing to say, but I do wonder whether these people who have such strong, dangerous, frightening opinions about trans people or trans youth or whatever, I do sometimes think, have you actually sort of ever met a trans person and like and met them and engaged with them as a human being and just looked into their eyes and talked to them as a human? Because
Right.
I like it's this dehumanization that happens, and the conversation so often happens over trans people's heads, and that's what's scary.
Mhm.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I just think, a change needs to happen. I mean, honestly, I think the internet is making a lot of people very unwell. I think about that all of the time. I think the way that the internet is like radicalizing people is really scary. I see it in like family members and stuff, not just around like trans issues, but I see it in the way that they talk about sort of anything really, you know, race, vaccinations, whatever. I hear, you know, certain phrases being parroted, and I'm like, where have you read that? What website have you been on? Like, what weird fake, like, sort of Facebook link did you click on? But it's so frightening. The internet is such a like bottomless black pit, and the internet can be an incredible force for good, but there's also a really dark, scary side to it. And I think it's made a lot of people really, really mentally unwell, which, and I mean that in like a very sincere way. And a change needs to happen, and organizations like, you know, Mermaids, I mean, they just do absolutely invaluable work. So it's amazing that you're supporting them.
Yeah. So everyone watching should definitely go check out the link in our in the chat for the live stream to the fundraiser and donate whatever you can, even if it's a few dollars. Like, everything helps. And yeah, to kind of bring it back to Our Flag Means Death, I mean, I think that there is so much value, especially for trans youth or LGBT youth in general, seeing themselves in characters on TV, just like we've been talking about in Our Flag Means Death, with such a like wide range of queer characters to look to. And that's just one of the reasons why we love the show so much. So we just have a few more minutes with you, but to ask you one more thing about Our Flag Means Death, do you have any like special moments from set that really like stand out to you? Not necessarily like a good moment, but something that was like, I mean, it can be good, but also anything that was like exciting to film, or like particularly I don't know, just a particularly special part of the production, and anything from like behind the scenes.
I think, and apologies if I've said this before, but I the first few times do sort of scenes, one-on-one scenes with Matthew Mayer, who plays Black Pete, who is you know, one of my closest friends on the show, and it was just such a magic experience. We knew we had this love plot coming up, and I was kind of nervous about it, and you know, and and there was something so just like magic that happened immediately. Matt and I get on so well, and I think we just have like quite naturally great chemistry, and it was just so much fun. I remember the first day that we shot like one of our kind of like one-on-one like romantic scenes together, and we were already kind of friends before that, but I remember just thinking like, oh thank God, like I was so nervous, you know. I wasn't really an actor. I'd never really seen myself as like I never saw myself in like a romance on screen. It just didn't, even as like a gay man, I was like, well, the gay men that do romance on screen don't tend to kind of look like me. Do you know what I mean? They have like a very specific look, and then to do it with Matt, who's just so funny and so kind, that was really, really special. And another one is, I do always think back to the day that we all of us have talked about this in interviews before, but they sent us on like sailing training.
Oh wow!
Like we did like a day on a boat. I mean, we were so bad at it. It was like hilarious. But we went on like a working boat in somewhere in LA. I don't really know. And we spent a day doing that. And that was one of the first days where I felt like I really started to like connect with everyone. Like me and like Christian Nairn and I are really good friends. And that was like the day that we started chatting. And and we just made so many like great pals on the show. You know, I get on so well with Samson. We kind of knew each other from beforehand, but it was those early days where we all first started to like kind of connect with each other and get to know each other were like so special.
That's awesome. That's so cool to hear. Like I don't know, I can just imagine the day training on the boat would be so fun. And I think it would make sense for the characters if like they don't actually quite know, you know, what's going on in the background. But
I mean, it was sort of really appropriate. I think the only thing that could have made that sailing training more fun is if we'd had like cocktails or something. But like it was so funny actually. Like because I was starting to panic on that day. I was like, God, I really am, because I'm so bad at things like that. I'm not even great at tying shoelaces. I'm not kidding. Like I'm so bad at knots. I'm so like I'm not very. Like, I think I'm quite dyspraxic in that sense. I'm just really terrible. And I remember that then it sort of clicked in my brain. I was like, oh yeah, I guess we're kind of particularly my character. I was like, I don't think I have to worry about like not being an impressive enough pirate. I don't think it's come up really. So actually, it ended up working. But for the sake of my reputation, any of the bad pirating I do on screen was intentional.
Right, of course. Well, thank you so much, Nathan, for your time. It was so lovely to chat with you. Is there any last minute things you want to say to the fans watching, or any upcoming projects you want us to know about? Any last words at all?
I'm not sure when exactly this is but I've got a couple of Comic-Con appearances coming up. I'm going to be at London Comic-Con. I'm also going to be at Comic-Con in Miami. And then there's another Comic-Con coming up towards the end of the year, another big one that hasn't been announced yet, so I can't say what it is, but keep your eyes peeled. Thank you so much for everyone. I mean, thank you for doing this amazing work. It's so incredible to see, you know, like right now the writers' strike is happening, and the way that like our flag fans are kind of coming together. And like, you know, I saw that our flag fans got like a big shout out on Twitter the other day for the way that they've been kind of like collaborating and helping people who are on the sort of like front lines of the strikes and stuff like that. And it's just so cool to see the way that our flag fans kind of come together and genuinely are like a force for good. And this is just another example of that. So yeah. Love you guys, and trans rights.
Yeah, perfect ending. These are the best fans in the world, I think. So
the best.
Thank you so much, Nathan. It was lovely to talk to you.
Thank you, Sarah. This was so much fun.
All right, bye.
Bye.
I'm glowing.
What a delightful human.
What a delightful human.
Love
Speaking of delightful humans, I'm going to tell you real quick, we had 2 more baby Krakens get adopted. We also added, we have signed copies of this lovely book, The Island of Sea Women, available, signed by the author. It's got a lovely little note in it. It just got added to the fundraiser. If you get it, also, because it's special here in my house, I'm going to throw in a special secret bonus book if you get this one, but you got to get it during the live stream to get the secret bonus book.
And you know, my favorite thing that we in the LGBTQ community say, ACAB, stands for All Krakens Are Babies. So don't forget. ACAB, everyone.
It's perfect. It's perfect. All Krakens are babies. I'll put that in mind. All right, everyone. Nathan was amazing, and now we're going to bring on our next crew member from The Revenge, Christian Nairn. Hi, Christian.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Christian.
How are you?
We're super excited,
so excited to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Excuse my extremely messy room in the background, but there's absolutely I had some good excuses, but they were complete lies. So it's just because I'm messy.
It's your creator space. It's beautiful.
We'll go with that.
Creator space. Listen, I am directly next to a big mess, particularly this item.
Oh wow!
It's just a giant Sonic the Hedgehog balloon. So like, don't worry, no one's judging you.
I must ask why. Why do you have a giant Sonic the Hedgehog balloon?
So he's from a birthday party that happened a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
But this is also the room that we have a treadmill in, so we like to put Sonic on the treadmill so he can, you know, keep up his speed.
Well, yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense.
This is not what people have tuned in to talk about.
Hey, pirates.
Christian, we absolutely love Our Flag Means Death. We love everybody involved in the show. Everybody who's watching here knows who you are, but just in case we had some stranger just wander onto the deck of the ship right now, do you want to give us a short introduction about yourself?
Okay, I'm Christian Nairn. I'm from Belfast. I am I started off life as a drag performer, which segued into being a DJ, which segued into being an actor, segued very quickly into Game of Thrones, and that kind of changed my life and put me onto the stage on a very larger scale. And I then ended up in Our Flag Means Death, and the rest is history. I feel like I'm a very lucky boy.
My follow-up question is, when does the memoir drop? Because that sounds like an incredible life story I want to read
The
about.
drag to
Funny you
fandom
should say
from
that, but I can't talk about that. But yeah,
Very exciting. You didn't hear it here first,
no, you did
people.
not. Definitely did not. Yeah, definitely did not. No, definitely not working in that at the minute. Definitely not.
I'm so excited. Well, very excited for that. Can you tell me a little bit about Our Flag Means Death? Like, what has it been like to see the impact of the
Hmm.
show? Were you at all anticipating like this level of love from the fans?
No, well, like any show, it's when you're producing a show like that, you become part of a little capsule universe, and it's very hard to predict what's going to happen afterwards. Um, I mean, I don't think it's I don't think it's wrong to say, but the cast have all kind of fallen in love with each other. It's such a really beautiful, really beautiful bunch of people, um, and we knew that was good. We knew the dynamic was good. Um, we knew the source material was good, but we knew the sense of humor was a little bit offbeat, and we knew people would either love that or not at all. We did not know it was going to get to this level. We did know we were a very diverse bunch of people, in all walks of life, and I absolutely loved that about the show. In terms of looks, in terms of sexuality, in terms of race, gender, everything's it's just so varied, and that's one thing I love most about the show, and um, I'm glad people have picked up on that, and it really was when when we started to watch. I obviously have social media, and I started to see things happening on Twitter, and the sort of responses were getting bigger and bigger. The retweets were growing and growing. Then all of a sudden, it turned into like a community. Then the fan art started to come. The fan art started, and then all the fan fiction, and it was it's overwhelming, and in such a great way. I didn't expect it to be. I mean, obviously, Game of Thrones has a huge fan base, but not like this.
Yeah.
Not like this. It's not as. I mean, not as purely loving. I mean, it's such. I've had nothing but positivity, and I'm so grateful for it.
It's As a fan, it's a wonderful place to be. It is a very loving, special thing. And this is a special day for the fandom too, because they're out supporting the writer's strike
That's
and
right. I saw
bringing
that. That's
and
such a
bringing the
cool
talk
thing
to
to
you.
do. It really is. I love to hear stories of how people have met through the fandom, and like you hear that at conventions and stuff. It's just people who have like became real life friends through this, and I mean, what more could you ask for?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's true. I recently had my 30th birthday party and it was queer pirate themed.
I love that.
And
Congratulations.
thank you so much. And I had one of our Fandom Forward volunteers who I'd never met in person happen to
Oh,
be in my town on that weekend, and they were
mhm.
able to come join. And so it was like this beautiful moment of the fandom of Our Flag Means Death coming together. And it
Oh,
really is just such a loving fandom. It's so warm. It just feels like a hug. It's
I
great.
know it does, and you guys are really teaching the internet how to be used properly. You know, I mean, I've
Yes.
met so many of my real life best friends through internet endeavors and pursuits, all perfectly above board. Don't mean anything weird. Talking about World of Warcraft and stuff like that, but it's just so nice to see people connect that way over the internet and just like steering clear of all the weird stuff. I saw Nathan's um interview there, the sort of negativity that could be bred on the internet. You guys are like a shining light of a beacon, and it's so
Oh,
nice.
Thank you so much.
I never have to fear when I look at retweets. I never have to fear when I look at replies. When I got the part in Game of Thrones, one of the first things David and Dan, the showrunner, said to me was, "Do you Google yourself?" And I said, "Yeah, obviously." And they said, "Well, you better stop. You better
Oh
stop right now
no.
because you're going to see some shit." I said, "Okay." So I don't. It's a really great idea. I stopped Googling and I stopped looking at comments. But anything connected with this, I have no fear. And please don't see that as a challenge, guys.
It's a challenge to stay beautiful, people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Yeah. Sounds like two very different experiences for the two different fandoms that you are an icon in.
I didn't say that, but thank you. Yeah, it's very different. But you know what? I have nothing but love for the GOT people too. They're very, very cool.
Yeah.
Very
How
cool.
is it as an actor being like playing such iconic roles for two really popular fandoms? And does it affect your work and how you approach it on set?
I mean, not being a professional actor before Game of Thrones, I was kind of afraid that anything else would feel uh, quite small in comparison. And like, how do you go from Game of Thrones as your first acting job into something else? You know, but
Really
it doesn't.
unusual bar.
It is, yeah. It's jumping right into the deep end. But it didn't feel like that at all. I think possibly because most of it was filmed in Belfast here, and getting to go to LA and being inside the Warner lot was such a trippy experience. It's definitely felt on a different level itself. Um, but I'm not sure how I approach it as an actor. I just take every job as it comes. I definitely try to put a lot of myself into the characters. I think that's why people hire me. I realized that pretty early on. Um, I don't know why, but I'm happy to go with it. You know, fake it till you make it. That's my. I think I'll put that on my tombstone.
uh, okay, so tonight we are raising money
Mhm.
for trans youth with our fundraiser. 50% of the proceeds are going to benefit Mermaids UK. And so we're asking all of our guests that have come on tonight, why do you think it's so important that people support trans youth right now, especially in the UK?
Okay. Um, it's hard to say this. It was like it's such a subject matter. I talk about it all the time at the minute. I'm mystified being. I'm a 47-year-old gay man, and I just don't know how. Still in 2023, people still have an issue with people just being themselves.
Mhm.
And I've never understood why people want to have power over other people. Um, it's just not something I computes to me. And there seems to be a real push about that at the minute.
Yeah.
Just trying to keep people down and vulnerable people and demonizing people who are at their most vulnerable. Uh, we just really need to be supportive, as supportive as we can, and stay visible, not letting people push us down. Um, Gay people, like, we're here, and you know, the trans and gay, we're the only, like, we exist in nature and every creature,
Mhm.
and we're not going anywhere. I saw it
Yeah.
really beautifully put somewhere the other day. I can't remember if it was a meme where someone said to me, it was a lady writing about her child, and she said, um, "My child never was read to by drag queens. He didn't see trans people on TV. He didn't have any positive gay icons growing up. Um, but guess what? He still turned out gay. You know, and I didn't have any of that when I grew up. And I don't see how having positive things in the media is going to affect anybody in a bad way. It's only going to make it normalize it, and that's what we need. Because it's just part of life. It's part of this beautiful mess of a life that we have.
Yeah.
And I just wish people would get over it. And just let people do what they need to do. I mean, that's for me. That covers a lot of issues, and not just trans. It covers pro-life. It's just everything. Everyone's allowed their own opinion. I don't want to affect anybody else, but I just want to do my thing, and I want you to do your thing and be happy.
Absolutely.
Is that so much? Is that so big? It's 2023. I just don't understand. It mystifies me. I'm playing with my buffalo.
I think it's just a vocal minority of jerks that
and
want to
as
do
Nathan
this.
said, it's like the internet is a megaphone for people who, and it's like a comment section. You only see the bad stuff. I truly believe that in your country and my country, most of the people are fine. And with the politicians, our countries equally are in such a mess at the minute. I often believe
I've noticed
that pushing the gay and trans issue to the front with politics doesn't need to be there. It's like Caesar, divide and conquer. They're trying to push these agendas so people don't notice. Why have we got no money? Why can't we afford? Why are nurses having to use food banks? Why and stuff like those are the big issues that we have. Not people wanting to be themselves, demonizing parts of the community. It's just like, hey, look over there, and there's like a fire here. So I don't know. But we have to support. We really need to sort of stand together. And, organizations like Mermaids are just invaluable.
Yeah,
they're doing fantastic work. I love that perspective. Like, we need to stand together in order to let everybody kind of be able to do their own thing.
I would consider myself a humanist.
My
family's never been particularly religious or anything, and I just think as Nathan also said, we're better than that. We should be. We're better than that, and we should be by this stage. And I have no problems with people who disagree with me, but just don't try and influence my life in any way. And that same goes for everybody else. A lot of my friends are super religious, and my best friend he's a pretty strict practicing Christian, but he has respect, and we respect each other. I respect that he's into that, and it means a lot to him. He respects that. I certainly don't. And that's the way the world should be. We didn't get to where we are by agreeing on everything, but it's just having respect and care and love for each other.
1,000%. 1,000%.
I waffle. I'm sorry.
No,
we love it.
Yeah, absolutely. This show, we're all about the pirates. We're all about the feelings. We're all about the coming together. I'm all for this. Speaking of people that we love, I want to ask, do you have like a favorite moment from our flag beans death? These notes say so far, but if you have a favorite moment from season 2, this is you're welcome to share it here.
I have
so far that we all know about. Do you have?
I've been in trouble with spoilers too many times to fall for that one because
so subtle though.
I know that was not subtle at all. I'm here to tell you that was not subtle. I will say season 2 is going to be the bomb. I think you're going to really enjoy it. I just wish we could tell you more about it. I wish we knew more about it. We know nothing apart from the fact we were in it. We haven't seen any. We haven't seen any trailers or clips, or we don't know the dates. So you can't get it out of me because I don't know. Anyway, I guess for me, everyone talks about that day in the boat. The boat when we went and did our pirate training. That really was a special day. Because before that, everyone was very nervous, or not really nervous, but you're always apprehensive when you're meeting a whole new cast of people. And that really just broke down all the barriers. And as Nathan said, we truly realized how inept we are as pirates.
Perfect.
I would claim to be one of the worst, actually. But that kind of goes to the character. I don't think John really cares what's going on around him too much. I really think he does. So that was a really magical day. Nathan and I bonded big time that day. also in the gym. We were doing like sort of like mobility tasks, see what we could do and stuff. And we were just like, what is this? Like forward rolls? Are we going to be doing like commando rolls? And I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
Getting a little
But,
nervous, like what we sign ourselves up for.
yeah, I was like, it's just like the GI Jane, you know. I don't know what's going to be happening, but that was a great day. And honestly, that maybe it wasn't the best day, but the first day of filming in season 1, just because of the way they had a strange week structure of a start and finish to the week and the way the hours worked, just until we got started. And on the first day, we did the longest day filming I've ever done in my entire life.
Oh, wow.
It was like, I think it was 6 a.m. in the morning, and when we finished, I was sleeping on a cardboard box in the studio. There's some awful photographs and footage, which I'm sure Samba has shared, and I may have sent in
Probably.
raids, texts of me sleep, or sending videos of me snoring. I think I vetoed that one, but that was a really challenging day. But we really got to know each other that day because
Yeah.
we were like crammed together, going, "What is this? Is this the way it's going to be?"
Oh
We're all
no.
panicking. It's like, we're going to be up to 6 a.m. every morning, but it was not. It was not like that. Thanks be to God.
I feel like they wanted to set the bar like real low, so everything after that was like,
It was
"Yeah,
better.
we're wrapping up by 2 a.m. It's a great day."
Yeah, but ask anybody. There's a noise that goes off when they stop filming, and it sounds like an air raid siren,
Oh,
and it's so loud. So there's a very funny video of all just we're all like sitting on our camp chairs, and like we'll be nodding off, and you hear like, "Argh!" And we all just keep jumping awake, and really pissed off. Like it's like an iPhone alarm. That horrible alarm sound on the iPhone.
uh-huh.
It
Oh
was
yeah.
worse than that. 10 times as loud, and yeah, it's quite upsetting.
Christian, I have one more question for you. I know we're a little bit over time, but if
No
you
problem.
need to go, let us know. But my last question for you is, do you have any other upcoming projects that you are allowed to talk about that you would like your fans to know about?
You know, this is one of my least favorite things about my job. It's that I can't really talk about this. I gave you a little hint earlier that the thing I hinted about is really happening. So we won't say anything more about that. I'm working on that at the minute. I also have the same Comic Cons as Nathan has coming up, but I think we can say the next one now. It's New York as well, so we'll all be at New York as well. So
that's where I
am. Yeah. Hopefully that's been announced.
Coming out
this is live, all right, okay.
TV.
It's announced now. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one. New York's always a trip.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get a tattoo in Salem when I'm there.
Ooh.
Not a pirate tattoo, I have to say.
That's fine. We'll allow it. It's
I'm getting
your
Morticia.
body for the rest of your life. You're getting what?
With Morticia from the Addams
Oh,
yeah.
Fantastic
so cool.
choice.
The original. Well, Angelica Houston and that version.
Yeah.
So I'm getting her on my last available arm space.
What an honor.
I'm sure Angelica will be over the moon.
That's awesome. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Christian.
So that's really fun.
Thank you so much for being here tonight. It's been such a delight to get to talk to you.
Likewise, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, thank you to everybody for watching. I hope we have some news for you soon about season 2, and I really hope you enjoy it as much as we did making it.
Thank you so much. We're so excited.
We're gonna love it. We're gonna love it. Thank you so much, Christian.
Yes.
Take care, guys.
Take care.
Why is everyone on the show just an absolute delightful?
It's wonderful. Like
human being.
Everybody.
It's amazing.
It's so wonderful.
It's a great show. And look, we're the eyeballs of.
I know. I watched us drop down, and it looked like the meme of the sunglasses falling over the eyes.
Wow.
It was fantastic. Let's see. Thank you. We've had more. 2 more adorable baby Krakens have been adopted. Ooh, and there's some new items up on the page. Also, I'm just going to point these out real quick. We are wrapping up, but there's a beautiful little handmade crochet mermaid doll coming to you all the way from Brazil. Beautiful. Decorate a space or cuddle with it. Only one mermaid available. So if you want to adopt a Kraken, we have a sanctuary full. But if you want a mermaid, we've only got one. So get that mermaid
I'm gonna have
now.
to fight for it, but like
Yay.
kindly, fandom forward style.
Yeah, fandom forward style.
Yeah.
Y'all, thank you so much for being here. Keep donating, keep sharing the link through June 30th. We're going to have half the money goes to us, half the money goes to Mermaids. And sorry if you can hear the Kraken screaming in the background. So share that link. If you've already donated, share it with your friends and family, your coworkers, various sea creatures, anybody who might be interested. Yeah, remember ACAB, all Krakens are babies.
All Krakens are babies.
Yeah. And thank you so much for joining us tonight. If you're not on our listserv, go to fandomforward.org/join. Be there, hang out with us all the time. We get to do some cool stuff, like talk to Our Flag Means Death, wonderful, magical people.
Thank you all so much for joining us.
Thank you,
Katie,
everyone.
do we have a last minute result of how much money we've raised so far?
We are sitting at just about $1,000, which I think is amazing. Yay!
Awesome.
That's great because we were at about 500 when we started today. So that was $500 raised this evening. Congratulations, everybody. And keep sharing the link out because I think we can get that way up by the end of June. So share with friends, family, mermaids, Krakens, whoever it is that you know, love, and spend time with. And I'll send you some cute stuff from my house and from other places, not just coming from my house. Lots of it's coming direct from the sea.
It's
so,
just a Katie yard sale, really.
I also have tickets to an aquarium that haven't gone up yet. So if you want to see actual live fish, that's going to be an option also.
Wow. Love it.
Thank you all. Thank you all for being here. You are all wonderful, magical people, and I hope you have a night that makes you feel just as warm and fuzzy as this live stream did.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye
Bye.
from Olivia's eyeballs. Goodbye.